Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope you're doing super fantastic as always. And I've got the office here rearranged. I guess from your perspective, if you watched it, from your perspective, it's not really that much different. Well, it is for me because I was over there on that wall, and I had this window directly in front of me. Now I'm shifted, so it's all good though. Still got my favorite books here. I've got another bookshelf over there with other books on it, but like the ones that I really, really dig are kind of right here. But anyhow, so dear loved ones, I've been watching. I've been watching a lot of things. I've been reading actually in Jacques Vallée, Passport to Begonia. Magonia, geez, a begonia is a flower. Passport to Magonia, and it's really interesting because he talks about how these entities that I guess have always been amongst us, they present themselves in different ways in different eras or different cultures or whatever the case may be. It's like what we consider to be a gray alien, right? May be exactly what in the ancient times thought were fairies or even goblins or things like that. It's the suggestion is that these are the same entities serving the same purpose that have been, for lack of a better term, deceiving us or just maybe flying under the radar for all this time. Now I'll get into all that stuff at another time, but and I was watching a video or an interview. It was video, but still, it was an interview of a guy, and he had been having encounters with these entities since he was a kid. And he keeps feeling like they are projecting fear onto him, basically in hopes that he would adopt that fear for his own. And then, some kind of terror or whatever, and then be in that low vibrational state and be in fear and be in I suppose, subservient even. But regardless of that, we always end up back at that low vibrational state. Now, I know that there are lots of us here in the metaphysical, new age, spiritual community who want to really only focus on love and light. And I appreciate that. I do. But I think it's being a little naive at times too. We've got to understand that not everything is love and light. There is darkness and evil, and it's necessary for it to be. In this realm of polarity, there must be an equal and opposite, because we can't, we talk a lot about polarity, but then we also talk about, well, it's all love and light, right? Like, for example, the Stephen Greers, the Dr. Stephen Greers of the world, who think that all these other entities are extraterrestrials from other planets, other star systems, and all that, which I think is being a little too physical, staying a little too rooted in a physical, materialist mindset, but whatever. But he implies that they are all of love and light, are very peaceful. None of them mean any ill will towards anyone. And because if they did, then they would not be permitted into the cosmos and things like that. And I'm like, well, I can't get on board with that, because we understand there must be an equal and opposite. That's what polarity is. And we can't very well sit here and act like, well, it's all love and light and kumbaya and all that, and pretend like darkness and evil do not exist. They absolutely do. Now, does that mean we need to focus our attention on it? No, that's not at all what I mean. We absolutely should not feed it our attention, because when we feed it our attention, we are feeding it our energy, which then strengthens it. As I've said many times, I believe that's what the purpose of the media and all of the different media outlets, be it social media or news media or whatever, that purpose is to keep us in low vibrational states. That purpose is to keep us in states of worry and fear and anxiety and things like that. And that's why I believe we should kind of not pay it any mind. But that's just me. But I do believe that all of these come together for one big purpose, and that one big purpose is to keep the human collective asleep at the wheel. You see, there have been other researchers who have come out and said that these other entities really are afraid of human potential. They understand how powerfully psychically gifted we really are. Ingo Swann talked a lot about that in his book Penetration, in that how these other entities are very afraid of us and us discovering our true power as psychic or psychic beings, but in the mental realm, in the astral realm, we could be very powerful, but we are convinced that we're not. And whether you think you are or you aren't, you're absolutely right. Right? So when I tell people, it's not all love and light. There is evil and darkness. I know I'm not suggesting that we should feed our energy to the evil and darkness, but we're not doing ourselves any good pretending it's not there. There is an enemy. So it's not doing us any good. And Polarity is an amazing teaching tool. It could be looked at as our great teacher. It teaches us the yin and the yang. It teaches us the pendulum swing from the good to the bad. But I watched that interview, and that guy was talking about these interdimensional beings and how they appear to us. And throughout history, they've appeared as fairies and goblins, demons, even getting into mantids and insectoids and things like that, and greys and all of that. The implication is that they are all the same thing, or at least they all come from the same realm, and they have the same goal. And the goal is to keep us asleep at the wheel, to keep us from waking up to our true nature, waking up to our true potential. And by the way, dear loved ones, if you have not yet, since we're on the subject, if you have not yet hit the like button, please do that. If you have not yet subscribed, please do that. I would really appreciate it. But they do seem to have, all of these beings, whether they're the same or not, they do all seem to have one common interest, and that is to keep humanity asleep at the wheel, to keep humanity from awakening to our true potential, to keep us from realizing how powerful psychically we really are, to realize that we are the divine spark of the Creator, the Creator of the entire thing. No matter how many layers there may be, no matter how many sims there may be, no matter how many universes there may be, we have a direct line to the all. We have a direct line to that universal consciousness, the mind that all of this exists inside of. So that's amazing. But at the same time, it's in this realm, in this physical earth realm, it does appear as though the deck is kind of stacked against us. And it is, until we become aware. You see, awareness is always going to be the key to all of this. Anytime we become aware of something, anytime something's brought to our attention, something's brought to our awareness, that's when we can identify it. That's when we can begin to work towards it or away from it, or whatever the case may be. But by kidding ourselves that it's all love and light, no, there are definitely entities out there that are not of the light. And in fact, if you encounter one, ask it, are you a being of light? Ask it. Michael Phillip, the host of the Third Eye Drops podcast, his most recent episode, as of the recording of this, being July 1, 2026, but his most recent guest, I forgot his name, but he said that exactly. He had an encounter with an entity, and he asked it. He said because it was a white, light, beautiful being, and he asked, are you a being of light? And it told him no. But I'm not going to go any further into that, but you can absolutely ask these if you encounter something of that nature, even if it's in a dream. These things can come to you in many ways, but to be naive or even in flat out denial of the existence of that is not serving you at all. We need to become aware of the fact that these beings do exist. They do have a big interest in humanity. They have a very big interest in keeping us from awakening, keeping us in these perpetual states of fear and anxiety, to keep us on dogma, to keep us following our religion, to keep us following these politics. All of these things are fear-based. And when we stay in those states of fear of hell, fear of some kind of repercussions politically or whatever the case may be, when we stay in those states, we stay dumbed down. We stay in low vibrational. We are constantly feeding energy to that darkness and evil. Most are completely unaware. That's why I say awareness is the key. Most people have no idea that that's what they're doing. And I got to believe that these entities, if they had it their way, it would stay that way. None of us would ever be aware, and everything would just be a smooth sail. Problem is, most of us, a lot of us are awakening. A lot of humanity are awakening. I believe that something is about to happen. As I've said, everything in this realm seems to be coming to a head. Time is speeding up. Spiritual awakening is definitely speeding up. So much is happening, and it's getting to be more and more and more rapid fire by the day. Something's about to happen. Is it going to be a big reset? Are we going to be given the opportunity to boot out of here? It does appear when we look throughout history at ancient structures and even not so ancient structures, buildings that we use today that were said to have been built somewhere between the 1850s and 1880s. Look at all the courthouses and post offices and libraries and things of that nature. And you're in any town, USA, any of those courthouses or any of those buildings, they were all built between 1850 and 1890 or whatever, right in the second half of the 1800s, which would indicate that there was some kind of reset, some kind of beginning, but they found all these buildings. It's like, well, we need to repurpose those, and we'll say they were built here in this time. Okay, I've talked about that a lot in the past. It's like, how are you going to convince me that the good people of Iowa built a 5-domed Capitol building in the 1850s or whenever it was exactly, in a matter of just a few short years, and they somehow managed to quarry all that granite and transported all those whatever distances, and then craft it in such beautiful ways, all at a time when the population of the state was probably less than 10,000 people, and most of them were farmers, and they were more concerned about their farm than anything. But anyway, that's definitely getting off the subject. But awareness is our key. Awareness is where we will break through. Awareness is what will cause us to have the great awakening. Is also what will cause more of us to awaken. So we need to recognize this. We need to recognize that we do have an enemy. There is evil and darkness in the world, and it is doing its level best, and in a lot of cases doing a good job of it, keeping humanity asleep at the wheel, keeping humanity from awakening, keeping humanity in the low vibrational states. You, dear loved one, have become aware of this, and you are breaking free from it. You are awakening, and that's beautiful. But I'm going to encourage you, don't pretend like the opposite is not there. There is polarity, and it is an amazing teacher. But the first thing that it teaches us is that there is an equal and opposite to everything. So that's what I got for you, loved ones. If you have not hit the like button yet, please do so. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Of course, leave comments. That's all for the algorithm to maybe get this message out to more people. I feel like more people need to hear this. They need to understand that they're not alone, that we are awakening. There is a community of us. So that's what I got for you, dear loved ones. I love you, I really do, and I will be back directly.